first I will take questions. Okay.
This came up today. Why doesn't the definition, that which is light and moving, incur the fault of over-pervasion?
맞아? 양심. 롱기치니. 알레. 알레 디치니 양심 요세. I can smell the trouble. 다 양심 요어디 아니 롱기 친이리 샤바이나 아니 롱마잉이 양심 요어 강디 샤스 데 참마로와 다디 개치슈디 친이스니디 가서 남샤전도 말아줘 가르제 친이의 천전이 버루래 아니 지게 가서 연의 여참점 이나 인 참점세 뭐고지와 디 랍다 고르데 개치슈디 가상 안조 개치 추수 총물 개치 추수 총제 안제장가 거기 젤레디 조 가르기 전에 시기도 랍제 셰야를 마도지기 아니 젤레디한테 라고 참말로 여디냐들라 아니 디 연구를 계제 멤버체 배낭랑조 계산 발레세에 되고 계제 직접 네 브레디 아니 그 가르 수기 차네 샤버를 로이 차네 샤버를 티기 차네 샤버를 쓰도 점배 아니 티 칸예지기 조티레 아니 소단예지기 차네 소톤이 시르데 조고 발레세디 사야체도 서베인자 티톤에 계시 원도 점배 디리도와 다단다 중원시기 나노네 아니 랑조 타직도 켜구도 켜구미도 세 계제디 찍다 요래데 이나야 배제 롱스니디 아니 중원시다 나로네 어코 만라이 켜바지 가리톤 시기스도 그 유리 지가서 유리 양식 요의 돈에 시해진도 선배 되게 찬 시해버려 마도 양식이 양식 요와 인디니 직 롱마인이지 도와세 지구 깨진지 말해서 못었어
It's similar, I think you discussed this with Rinpoche the other day, the bread thing. Do you remember discussing this bread thing? So it's true that when you're doing Dudra, you're saying definitions and definiendal have the 8 modes of pervasion. There's the being, not being, existing, not existing. That's all there. And that's something that is important and one needs to figure out in Dudra. But when you're giving definitions, especially in the case of the 4 elements, like you said with bread the other day, I think you discussed whether bread is taste, source, things like that. So even though from the perspective of certain things it might seem to have that function or perform that function, that doesn't mean that everything that performs that function has to be that thing. So when you're defining characteristics for the 4 elements, it's based on what they do. And what the 4 elements do, if you ask what does wind do, then wind is that thing that is light and moving. So as a unique characteristic of wind, it is that which is moving. But that doesn't mean that everything that is light and moving necessarily has to be wind. So when you're giving characteristics, when you're talking about definitions, there's 2 ways to think. One is in terms of the pervasions that they have, or the 8 modes of pervasion that they have. And then one is in terms of how they come to be called certain things, or why you qualify a thing with certain unique traits or defining characteristics. And so in that sense, the modes of pervasion is important to resolve, but it's also important to know that just because something performs that function, it doesn't make it that thing.
In the back in the monastery, when we debate, one of the fun thing is what is the definition of human. Mashe Tönkowa can speak and understand, can understand. That's the definition. So then many people will stand up and then debate. There is a parrot, okay, who can speak, who can understand. So also we say if that the parrot is a human, that tells it follows it's the human because it can speak and it understands. So the one technique we say the parrot it understands, it speaks.
Is not here. So there's this creative thing that's been in, there's an answer, which is, I think Kelsey was trying to do that today, where you say a parrot can speak and a parrot can understand, but a parrot cannot speak and understand. So there's a thing where you say in Tibetan it's called Domta Madrup, which means the reason is composed of different parts, right? So it's composed of a speaking and it's composed of an understanding. So you're saying individually the reasons are both established, but together the reason is not established. So Domta Madrup is something that we say for that. For instance, that's okay, that's okay.
So the debate system here, I think it teaches you how to hold your position quite strongly. And also, when we talk about the definition of water, this definition is quite interesting. Len is, how do you translate? Oh, wet and moisturizing? Moist. No, moisture. Wet is okay. What does this Sherpa, the moisture, that many people does not know what does that Sherpa means. Later in the definition in the Tibetan, it shows, and also one of the person who is really into grammar, Tibetan grammar, when I was debating, he became a geshe. So before he become a geshe, he needs to sit in the front of the 1,000 monks and then he need to answer. So one person, their discussion went through like in the Dura, the logic and reasons, especially with the definition of the water. So then he says, is the tea water because it's wet and has a moisturizing. And then he said, now here, because you don't understand what is that Sherpa means, so there's the debate. The Sherpa means, he says, the milk and the all others are not the moisturizing because it leaves a stain. So he says, that means it is Sherpa Timi Magabachku.
So moistening, the Tibetan word for moistening
Stain. Because milk and the coffee and the tea. Sorry? The coffee. This is coffee. So it leaves a stain, isn't it? So that also in the letter, if you search on the Tibetan dictionary, it kind of says something like that. It kind of means something. So not only saying, sometimes we answer this tomta matu, all combining together. Combining, it is not. But if you say fast, it is, yes. But it doesn't seem something right. But then in there, this Geshe pointed out something very interesting, so that I wanted to share. Okay, any other question? Okay. Who has the mic? Yeah, here.
Rinpoche, could you speak a little bit about debate and using debate to work with arrogance, and like how you're working with arrogance, but at the same time building confidence and holding positions, etc.?
Okay. Oh. Oh, did it? So when we talk about arrogant, what does that really mean? Arrogance is full of pride, does not listen to anybody, so on. But now in the debate, while we were debating, Kengpa, then maybe we have to bring the example of these vessels. That one is kind of upside down, dirva. So it does not, this kind of arrogant thing does not observe or bring more knowledge and experience. That you need to check. Normally, being arrogant, the disadvantage of being arrogant, we say the person who is so arrogant, he will never improve his practices, and he will never listen to his teachers and friends. So while here when we debate, it's not something like that, but it's more to hold the position, to bring some kind of a debate. It's not fully to win and then have a party. It's not like a deep politics thing. But here I think holding position means how much you can stand strong. By holding this position means how are you good enough to hold to this, saying even this the sound is impermanent. To hold to this for how long that you can hold it. So let other people give so many other reasons, how much that they will try to make this your position weak. So how much strength you can bring that. So it's a good arrogant. Maybe this English is not good, but I think this kind of arrogant will never been in our life. We've been very stupid to hold to something it is not worth. but we will never been like hold of the position, this kind of attitude, we never have one. If we don't have that one, then if we say, I wanted to get familiarized with this kind of practice forever, until to become Buddha, I will hold this. So then you cannot hold to the position if somebody like immediately says something and then your mind get distracted and somewhere you might think, maybe it really makes sense. He's true. So deep inside you really cannot hold to that kind of thing. So also how to boost up the confidence in while having this. So right now when you debate, when you answer, when you question, and then not only with the teachers but then also with the classmates, so you need to open up so much and shouldn't feel deep inside kind of a shy or low esteem, self-esteem. You wanted to say, but you just feel like, what will my classmates will think? Or what will my teacher, maybe he might find this question very stupid. This kind of thing really takes away your the next confidence, which is that you feel like, my question, how I asked, actually even you feel it's stupid, but your teacher might find it very interesting. Sometimes I ask my teachers some stupid questions, but it opens so much bigger topics that I felt like I'm so happy that I asked this stupid question. So this is something I think you need to open up time to time with your classmates and your teachers. So shouldn't hold to this kind of maybe this is also kind of arrogant. Call this as arrogant. It does not allow you to learn more, because we always say we learn from our mistakes, and then of course that includes our kind of the caution that you are feeling that not good enough. Then maybe so many others, maybe your classmates have this question, but they couldn't ask. But on the behalf of them, you ask that, and some of them or everyone is getting an answer. And then while I think debate, maybe Adisha already told you, we should debate like crazy. That means opening up. So when we do yoga and then you feel like open all the chakras and you say that. But now this is more important. Opening all the doubts. I will leave my mind so open and welcome all the knowledge. So in the down south monastery, still we have a saying in the first 3 years of the debate on this Dura. We say 3 years of the Dura debate. We have to debate like a crazy. So that you can ask anything, debate anything, say anything there. But then slowly going into the Abhisamaya Alankara, and then you will come to hold to the position where it has a deeper meaning. And then with the help of all the debate that you have done like a crazy, you would know which kind of a position. Even you are saying things, holding it, but deep inside you will feel like, I cannot holding this position. If the other person cannot debate well on that, I feel it's a little bit dry inside. I still feel this. So then you keep on searching more for. This is how I think it links towards to the when we ask for the bit instructions. So until you haven't done any kind of homework and you didn't use your brain or investigation quite well, I'm not sure you will get the bit instruction. Even the Lama gives one. I'm not sure you will get this. Okay. So open it up. So this is the time. So feel like you're here to just take out all this good and bad and or what doesn't matter, all this question. You just ask to your classmates and to Adisha and my teachers. So I think somehow then after when you are ready to go back to your home, you will feel like somehow I emptied my all kind of questions here. It relieves, gives you relief. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Rinpoche ji, in the text, there is a presentation of on mode of inquiries on the nature of reality, and there are 5 aspects which have been given: the nature of the objective world, the mind which cognizes it, the presentation of the mind and the mind which cognizes it. The 4th one is the means, the science of logical reasoning. The 5th one, it says the person, the agent who knows as a nature. That particular aspect, the 5th one, is not clear to me.
Okay. Did you read about that? Okay.
So it follows from the text that how the text has been integrated. So the first 4, and these they say is the 5 mode of inquiries to ascertain the nature of reality. So the first one is the nature of the objective world, the entire, the forms, visible forms, invisible forms, and internal, external matter. The second is what is the presentation of the mind. The third is which is related to the subject. The third is how the mind engages with its object. Fourth is the means, the science of logical reasoning, which I'm assuming is what we are doing now as Sutras.
Yes.
The 5th one is a little complicated because it calls the person, the nature of the person who knows, and it also refers to him as an agent.
Ale knows lana sheba chinye kansa. Ale no. Al digi dinalo ko karati ni kongo chumse. Ale re. That I didn't see, so I need to look into this and then to discuss about it. So you gain 1 point here. I didn't understand very well. Okay. Yes. Behind there.
If I would assert that whatever is visible form is necessarily shape, what would be the fault of it? How could it be challenged?
미식 순절인 이나 이유임이 들려 다시 받는 것이 아니 이도 가도 니서 봐 이미 접시 가르쳐 이 가르쳐 가도 샤셔 다 가도디 이 뭐니 쓰고 봐 그러봐 그러봐다 저저저 응연로 그런 가도디 이미디 로가치니 셰고 얘기 내가 가지고 디 중난도 송거 봐 미드웨 So first we need to understand in the text when it says shape and color, it's separately there. So one could say, yeah, I will hold the position that Mishig Sungjayina and the Grami shape Ingures Labina. 다지기 양다서 땅체 제대 제규지데 이내 당고 아주 디니 니 송고 얘기 내가 지금 아주 신고 그래서
You have to know it first before you try and hold that position and argue against it or for it. You can try and see why the text speaks of two divisions of visible form first. That's something that you can check before you want to argue against it.
So sometimes it is easy to argue that, and some person maybe you will make that person difficult. but the most curious thing is why, when we speak shape and color differently. So what is the important, the essence of that that we need to, I think, find it out. 디 중나는 이비 친이 세다 가도 친이다 도대도 동아서 이수로 와서 지와 다이네 공오 라토두기 이비 차네 깨지 셔야지다 카도 전에 깨지 셔다도 로가요 여러다 지 카도 도 친이 셔원도 전에 에는 거기 로그 죽주 가도 아니 sobdagi toni keji shigondu yang des kagaju yebro kharchana.
So you do have, when you talk about things, you can describe them from the point of view of the shape and from the point of view of the color. So you could have two ways. You could have two ways of talking about that also. You could have two ways of talking about. You do have two ways of talking about the visible world. You describe it through shape and color.
While debating, then you can also debate is the same or different or doesn't much matter. But when we talk about shapes and then we talk about colors, it's a two different way of projecting in our mind. That's quite clear. So then then we have a saying, even you can hold the position that the shape, visible form, 입이나 가자 미시 송제 있는 입이 캡 라바 있나요? 아니 미션발 되게 랭자마 토베 있나요? 다 차랑기 딜이야 카가 유스람네 미션바디 다서 땅베는 딜레 차랑 랭자 토지 거버스.
So you can argue against someone and make them have a hard time with your reasoning, but if they were to turn the question around you, would you be able to hold the position otherwise? So that's what you also have to try and see whether you can hold the same position that you've been given to someone else as well.
So there's one story when the Aryadeva, when the one great non-Indian scholar, non-Buddhist Indian scholar, he sends a letter to Nagarjuna saying, I'm ready to debate with you and let's meet. And then Nagarjuna was ready to go, but then the Ayadeva said, I will go on behalf of you. Right? You have seen this story. And then he goes. And before he left to debate, Nagarjuna said, I wanted to check with you whether you are capable to debate with that person or not. So then Nagarjuna hold the position. We have saying that hold the position as same as that this non-Buddhist scholar. And then while debating, Ayadeva thought, what happened to my teacher now? That's it. So that means whenever you debate, it is not like you are good with one-sided, but you also have to train yourself to the other side also. So that's why in Tibet, when there are so many texts saying this debate system is not that important, because the debate system, especially Parmana in this debate with the non-Buddhist, is specially designed to debate only with the non-Buddhist view, only. So we don't need to learn that. So then, in order to understand your own view, it is so necessary to know what the other person is saying. So that means open-minded. So that's why I think when we debate, we also have to have this in our mind, saying that even you can make your friend difficult, but if I hold this position, now let other person debate, and then maybe with a less kind of information, you cannot hold the position quite well. So this is, I think, quite necessary to think also. Not only with the shape and then the visible form, but that has to go with the other also debate too, I think. Okay.
I asked this the other day because we can study through other master's programs where it's not so debate. What would be the difference if people can study through without debate and with the debate?
Tadi peshin dimendo kanji tsuba di nanzu kaji kago ranglu shaba tsuba pangas ranglu yago ji she tuyak chedo ange kaji kago yu digi chedo kaji gi ndoba di kaji jitamshi mara ngana la loto dende jingal dending dinano yore ngege dinam dan ngege di chol ma semdo ma do ngege sem surjing nan di thagrang yong yores di yu chabe shugla di meba jama sopa do 니게 랑루 가주 시작이인스는 디 짱마지 춘 용토 말에 세 삼로들 차비 쇼라 아니 디 매바 마수 봐도 알라 곰이하고 찍당 로 템보지 뭐 충나 안에 답해 주네 탑면도 삼네 로정장당 찍 충분히나.
So when you study, you can study the way that it's been done in the where it's done with debate, like it says in the text. The structure is refuting others' positions, establishing one's own position, and replying to objections. When you're refuting others' positions, you're not just refuting another's position, you're refuting it because you're refuting another's position with the intention of understanding your position better. So if you're refuting another's position only as someone else's position, then you don't realize that maybe deep down inside, even though you're not aware of it, the opponent's views is something that also pertains to how you think. So it's kind of almost like in an unconscious way, the doubts that are presented in a text to your own position are also your own. You might not be aware of them. And if that is the case, then for you to say, this is my position, and to even be sure that you've understood it or you're certain about it, and then based on that assumption that you know it, if you were to then cultivate a contemplation or a meditative practice on that position of yours, which actually you're not really sure about, is one way to go about it. So to make sure that that's not happening in whatever position you're sure of, you are certain and confident in it because you've addressed all the problems that might arise with you believing something. That's why the structure of debate has been created. So that's why one studies with debate.
I think when we debate, in my classmates, to be honest, when in IBD and the big monastery, I'm not number one. And maybe we are like almost 20 people, so maybe I'm like 6 or 7. But then, actually, I am not sure why I don't want to be like top best one. You know, some of my classmates, they really wanted to become number one. But most important, when I debate, I always try to find in there it says something like this. Maybe this debate has to do something with my practice. That's I always have this question, but I'm very lazy to find this out. But then this is how I came to meet my teacher. So then my teacher, when we debate, when he teaches us how to debate, so he has 2 ways of explanations always. One is how we debate, and then normally we say that, how does that make sense in your practice? So then automatically I felt like, wow. So that is how my teacher not only become a great debater, but also he comes to the down to the practice. They're saying in their way debate like this, but from somehow this debate can give you this kind of understanding of the meaning. So that also comes from his master. So Adisha and my teacher told that story. One of his the master, Gen Chengju, when he was giving lots of advice. So at the latter of his life, the teacher, his teacher said, "Now after now we've been debating all the kasan necessarily said, right? Yeah. There is one debate saying the karsa jitu gi sing sharma na chöje ane rangde nyugo kenye indire kirungde kenye sila kenye indi nesa chule tosho soba sabi sing yimbi chiris lamna ane telya ani tandapato ta peja ta ani dile tamatu lem jamato bashi chawa machung slarwe chawa machung slenjawe na ta mizichik peja ta ko chuyo mas di ta digi tönda tungtung chi chung dostana chungchung de de digi 잡들래 고직 여러다 쉬우지 흉심부지 되는지 람상 따만도 랍토가 주서 톡도 세야 되는 아주 담제 남지 차단들도
So there's a syllogism that is made, it comes this year ahead, which is take a field in the spring that has all the causes and cooperative conditions for producing a sprout. It follows the sprout will necessarily arise because it is this field or it is a farm field that has all the cooperative conditions in it. That's the syllogism that comes out. And so Gen Jhanju, he said, you might feel like you can quickly say there's no pervasion and you feel like it's an easy alternative. But after all these years, he was telling Gen, he was saying, after all these years that you've debated, if you don't understand the meaning and the weight behind something which says when all the causes and cooperative conditions are there, then the effect will definitely arise and you feel that you can just say no pervasion just on a whim, then you don't understand the weight of the reasoning behind it. If you understand the weight of the reasoning behind it and then you know how to use this syllogism, then what you have to try and do in your own case is you have to make it happen in such a way that you don't have all the causes and conditions to generate a state that you don't desire. So instead of trying to dismiss it by saying no pervasion, if you understand the weight of it, then you have to try and make sure that you say for yourself that a reason is not established, because you have to be able to say, I don't have all the causes and conditions for something bad to occur to me, and therefore I can be sure that it won't arise. So there's ways to use all the debates that we do in one's practice later, and that's what Gen Jhanju was trying to tell me.
So also what we need to keep in mind, because in Lama Tsongkhapa's text, which I have shared with you all, so in there it says the person with some kind of having jegom, the analytical meditation, and who has a good understanding of analytical meditation, and person who didn't do doesn't have that information, but still when they go along the along the path, there's no kind of differences. Then we need to keep in our mind that there's something wrong there. That means there should be a big difference, should be there. Then later Lama Tsongkhapa gives all these kind of explanations. But I think now this is my idea. I don't know Adisha will agree with me or not. But the most important part, whether you become a great debater or not so good debate, but somehow in the latter part of our life, or when you practice, if you can still hold the position, somehow maybe you don't have so many reasons, good enough reasons, but still you have like saying 100% sure, even I cannot bring all the logic and reasons, that sound is impermanent, 100% sure. But if somebody comes with a gun or like a want to destroy you, but you still have a strong faith, it is there. This I think works in two ways. One, the person has already have a strong faith there, through the, maybe from the past life, or so much kind of investigation happened, but not in this life, but still you feel like strong connected there, deep inside. But then there would be second person, maybe you don't, we can check with our behavior, how you give the ethical contacts, how much you believe in law of causality, how that we know from our mind, isn't it, how attitudes or how. But then there it really clarifies how much effort you need to put in to hold this position for yourself. If I give you maybe 100,000 euros and saying, you do this stupid thing, it's fun, do it, then maybe you'll feel like, yeah, it's fun. I know this is maybe a little bit against the law of causality. Maybe, okay, I don't know there's Buddha or not. I don't know my teacher can understand this or not. Who cares? Let's do it. So there, holding to the position is no more. Because that faith is already gone, that's so weak. It is kind of a proof that you don't have that certainty, 100%. And some of the our great masters on our lineage holders, even they didn't do this kind of so much kind of debate and so on, but their position is sorted there. But the goal is same, but approach little different. Doesn't matter. But for us, we wanted to example as don't want to study, don't want to debate, but still I feel like I can't do it. I'm not capable of that. But I wanted to practice. There is a contradiction. But you wanted to become like that master? Bring one example, person who never debated in his life but still a great practitioner. But you really have to believe he's holding to the position, whatever, sound is impermanent, 100%. Maybe he couldn't say much. One of the greatest example is meditative. When he was asked a question, what is purging? What is paramana? Purging? Perfection of the wisdom. And just purging is na sadine pana purging. This one, Jarba.
So all Milarepa said was going beyond this level is purging, going beyond this state is purging. Purging is perfection of wisdom.
He says, I don't know purging, but if you can go beyond from this this state, then this is the purging. This is how he put it. But it has this strong, solid holding to the position where he really has this kind of state of mind. So now, while you are here, this investigation when we do, you should really enjoy this moment. Because when you go out from here, you will hear bodhicitta, you will hear emptiness, you will call Dzogpa Chimbo, you will hear Chagya Chimbo, you will hear everything. But then, to hold to the position, to this, with the logic and reason, will be not available. So that's why my teacher knows all the other upcoming teachings are so important in order to hold this position very strong, right? So that's why there's no other way for us, because for me, even I am recognized as one of the Rinpoche, but with the logic and reason. Without that, even having the faith in the sound as a impermanent, without the logic and reasons, it will be difficult for me. So while having this, and then let others debate on that, and then you bring your own logic and reasons, and then you bring this into your own kind of personal life practice. So then this is how we build up. So I think this is necessary to keep this in your mind. So I just wanted to share that.
What about if we would, in the same way as we say a person, if we don't take the speaking and hearing, knowing definition, but the, how do we say, person labeled on any of the 5 aggregates or something like that. Similarly, we could say the same for, let's say, the bread, and something labeled on the different elements of the bread being soft, bread being tasty, and all these different qualities that go to it. So then couldn't we just say that in the same way as a person is a denminduje, or like a non-associate compositional factor, then also tables and everything else is also non-associative compositional factor?
This is right. Pumbunga Corona Deni. Give us right. You're right. Ale Chujin Karik Pane could the Midujin is Lapshana. Someone will 10 showers, then time of showers. Really, the Kansa de Pumbunga Kanron la Dene Tabi Kibu Sedi, the Gengi Sungurba, Trude Shigagi di Sungu Yuna Menasech. Haba to Dene Tagba Segi, Geja di Shia Wondu Zambe, Patient di Tingubi Sheba Short Division, Yoris, King, the Yang, something on the Taja. Anal Haba to Kansa singing the Pena Simzambarki Shivin, Kansa singing Karasina, Sheba Res Lavna, Pigeon Kolkani Kayoma. Ane Tangazo Palace on the Kyo in Bina, Palace, Gidget Kazan Kirshivana Shiri, Palace in Yedilla, Okola Su, Yore, Chigi, Yore, Ni, Yores, Gejamushemoche, Palace had the Karichin server, Palace to Karichin, Guguyores, Lavism, Troja Chetan, Kali Shimbujira, should Ton Shevina, Palace Sudes and Kalimijos. She was.
So first, that definition of person that is given, we haven't done it yet, but the definition of person in the text is that being that is designated in dependence on one of the 5 aggregates. That's the definition of person that comes up later. And so again, Rinpoche's teacher, our teacher Kela says, this way of talking about person is not really fitting for the non-prasangika presentation, because saying something is designated in dependence on something is a way of talking that is very unique to a prasangika presentation. For example, if you were to ask a Chitta Matra or a mind-only practitioner, they wouldn't really have a hard time saying the person is consciousness. So this way of talking about things by adding their designated independence on, whether it actually is a definition of person according to all the schools is something that's not entirely clear. For example, the same reasoning of why mind only can say a person is consciousness is if you talk about bread, you can say bread has form, it has visible form, it has smell, it has taste. But then when you say what is bread or what is the purpose, why it even exists, you're using it to satisfy your hunger and fill your stomach. So if you say bread is form, what's the problem with that? So instead of having to resort to that kind of explanation, if you just say what it is, why is that not sufficient?
Mm-hmm. That answers your question? Maybe not.
Well, because again, what is the main function is super individual. So for some person, for example, the main function of a bread is maybe to fulfill your stomach, but then again it would rather be, it would have to be a tactile thing, because for your stomach to be full you would have to have something filling up. Or for some person it's the taste, for some people it's the smell. And for me personally, when I think of a bread, its main function is to fill my belly, but then still I associate it, I guess, mainly with its, with this actually touch. When I think of a German good bread, I think of it being very squeezy and nice. So again, this is like really, really individual. So for me, then finding a common, common ground of why we say bread is, for example, some people. What did you agree on? It's here, taste? Yeah. So if you here agree as taste, I would not find it easy to agree, because my idea of it is very, very different. So then, even on a worldly way, we would have a very different.
So the bread in a category, if you put it, goes into the food. It does not go into flour.
Right.
So if it is a flower, then for human it's like decoration or something we can say, it smells good. But if it puts into the category of food, then it must connect it strongly with the taste in the belly. So then it says like why the food is doing in the flower shop. So we say, the category is misplaced. So the bread should go to the bakery, so where they sell food.
Isn't hunger is one of the divisions of taste, isn't it?
Huh?
Tactile.
The hunger, rejan and the hunger.
So that seems connected with food.
There is a relation to that for sure. But it's more like a taste. Anila still goes like.
We have in Germany, bread is a world heritage.
Yes.
It is. And there are 1,000 different forms of bread. So bread is a very important thing in Germany. So don't please reduce it.
Yeah.
I would not say that the Indian bread is not falling in the category of definition.
The Ronald Romidus. Yeah. It's saying like this is actually a good debate, because normally we say when you see so much kindness in your teacher, then you wouldn't take your teacher as a human. And you won't, even in Tantra, you won't accept your guru as a Buddha. It's a little more than that. So I believe that. But still it has to stay in the category. Right? That's what I meant. So maybe if the intermediate state, the being, when maybe say the breath is a smell, but on your position is another smell. So this is a debate between something like that, isn't it? So it is, if I say taste, and then maybe some would like to say maybe, what do you want to say actually then? Touch. The touch sounds quite funny, isn't it?
Touch in the stomach.
In the mouth also, yeah. Huh? Demiduji. Demiduji is a very big discussion. Because Demiduji is sini khona nyoro saurwa. You know, when you put this Demiduji khal de injil.
Non-associated formative fractures.
See, it's very complicated. So why you wanted to, if it's not that complicated, why you want to put that into a complicated subject? Don't complicate things. Yes, yeah.
I have one more debate. If taste is an object perceived by tongue consciousness, hot and cold of food are also perceived by tongue consciousness, right? So,
루시 용구로 봤어. 최신 카레. 지식 용자. 루시 용자 세트. 알레 차장도 줘요. 레제기지로. 알레 지식 용자만 있어야 되로다. 되로다. 일단 지식 용자 참으로 지식이 등기다 딜랍션 되면도냐나. 제가 지식이 용거리 지식이 용자 말했어. 지식이 단다디 디 투모는 이어지면도니. 근데 이어지고. 루시 탐제를 켜버리세요. 로원은 켜버리세요. 라디로. 로로로. 어디 지실을 두모 모임버디 고 로디게 시기여로 디멘로스.
This one is so there's two ways you can try and do this. One is you can say it is perceived by tongue consciousness, but it is not the object perceived by the tongue consciousness. And the other way is the body sense faculty pervades all the other sense faculties. So the body sense faculty is the one that is, the tongue seems to be experiencing hot and cold, but actually it's the body sense faculty that is also there. So the tongue has a specific object which is only limited to tongue consciousness, which is taste. Whereas when there is a common object that is for all the sense powers, because all of them are pervaded by body consciousness, so then there seems to be like it is experienced by the tongue consciousness, but that's common to all of them because they're all pervaded by body sense faculty.
Okay.
Rinpoche,
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Or you want to go?
Yeah,
first?
yeah.
So, if I have a specific question, so take the subject, a blue square. It follows it is color or shape, and why?
가르쳐.
카도 이르베 이브라베 이런 좀 가르쳐. 카도 촐라타나 입 촐라타나.
주시고 무슨 가서 그러냐?
블루 스퀘어.
알레 주시.
주시.
알레 주시 보는데 이 주시 수준에 지겨. 오케이. 주시 공부디 추진스. 라베이나. 또저 이브레 카도레스. 이 이브레스 기니스.
It's shape.
Why?
그래서 주시 공부하려고 주시 년 나서 그 남주 가르쳐 달래. 제 좀전 셴바 믹싱에 하고 보면 다 개체슈디 가르쳐서나 조디 또조 란저기 주실마 숙청 미기 연구면로스 그나 잘라주녀베이나 잘라디기 섭다디냐를 야든지 섭다디 나온도서는 입디라 나와지도 아니 입데다 슈르야 아니 카도를 제수 장치 어디를 카도야 보도스 조녀고야 디고 디인스 입기 초디인스 디차는 로인자 니 주시인스 세고에디 책메로.
I'm not sure if this is correct, but generally when you see things first, your eye falls on the shape and then on the color. So when you have said blue square, your attention is drawn first to the square aspect. That's why I'm saying it's a shape.
So then what is your kasore? Debate objection.
I would say that we do not see first the color, first the shape and then the color aspect, because we see them both simultaneously.
들이 뒤님도 통보를 통양 통보를 봐. 갈라다 뒤님도 그 로알 통해서 게 말봐. 이나양 쪼고 되베 줘서 줘야지. 카도기 제수 녀를 도샤 아니 입기 초를 녀를 도샤스네 표정 입기 초를 녀를 도인 기리스.
Which is seen first, it's which one is your mind drawn to first. And your mind is first drawn to shape, that's why I'm saying shape.
I have an objection.
Okay.
The blue square is made up of individual particles of blue in the shape of a square. And so shape is color.
Shape is color 라브다. Shape. 또 shape is color 이내 메네메. 그래서 간지가 런저가 영화로 또 온대로 와. 배나 아 단도 쪽선 영화 쪽도 슬라비나. 쪽선이 공부 이미 계시면도 와. 쪽선이 충중도 전부 계시면도 와. 얘는 쪽선도 그런 게 셈나로 던지지 시야지. 아 쪽선이 요구인스 또도. 배우도 쪽선도 통도 좀 뒤 쪽선 섭다도 나온 거지. 지중도 상만 나온 거지. 다 이버디 컬러디 까보여로 나고여로 생기진 이버티도.
So whether it's shape or color, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But let's say you're going out to buy a table. Are you going to have you gone out with the intention of buying something of a certain color? Because if you need a certain table, you've gone out with the intention of a very specific shape that you need, that fits in a certain way and has a certain configuration. So when you go to the store, you find the thing that fits the kind of configuration you want, then you can say, I want it to be this big, this small, I want it to be this color, etc. So you've gone with an intention or a marked intention of picking out a shape. So it's shape.
Nothing to do with bread, huh?
I can go shopping and say I need something blue for my room, and then I'm looking for something blue and I find the blue table.
Oh. I don't know the people who works there will like you making very complicated.
That is a different question.
I want a blue. What blue? They say like, you go there, say I'm looking for a table, and then they will say, okay, go to the first floor. But if you say I wanted to buy a blue, and then they will, they don't know where you to send. Actually, they will get confused.
I'm just slendering around and looking for something blue. I don't have to ask anybody. This is not part of the questions I have to ask someone.
You go looking for a function.
Yeah.
You go looking for something to put your computer on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go looking for a shape. Let's say.
Mm.
Let's say you went to the store and said, "I'm looking for this shape."
This shape?
This shape, flat, long.
Ah.
They would look at you very weird. They'd say, "You want a table?"
Did you ever try that? Or are you just making that? You haven't tried that. You should try it.
Can one say, we say the mind is drawn to the square because there's the basis is the square, and then the color becomes the attribute. So therefore, the square is what your mind gets drawn to, and the blue is secondary. That's my...
It's English probably.
Huh?
Spanish doesn't say blue square. You say first square and then you say blue.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I have more support now, huh?
In many Latin languages it's like that.
So that's, I think it relates to the debate whether the horse is a color or not. White horse. Now it comes to this kind of debate here also. That's what we are trying to get something from here. So it's a difficult, but somehow I'm still going to say when I go for shopping, I'm first looking for a kind of shape and then color. That will be on my bucket list. Sorry?
Even when you go looking for a computer?
Okay. Now let's look at like this. If you are looking for a computer, then what?
Can I have a computer?
Yes. Okay. So you would really say, I'm looking for a computer, but I don't have any idea what kind of. Then they will say, well, now there is Apple and the Samsung or something, right? So they go down, break it down for you. But you have an image you have some kind of a picture image in your head or not? Or maybe you are saying, somebody say there is computer, and then you go say, I want a computer, but I don't know anything about it. That will be difficult. Right? So in your mind, there is some, little bit about computer. Saying it has a screen, it has kind of a keypad. Then you may be saying, oh, okay, this has to have this kind of RAM. You need to have some kind of understanding of that. So it is not like you don't have any idea and then you go for shopping and saying computer. It won't come to your mind, computer. So that's somehow you have this kind of in conceptual thoughts, you need to have this kind of a little bit of that. So then it is a big shock. You have a thought like a old the computer which has this huge, the monitor and everything, and then somebody brings this MacBook, very portable, then you just go, oh, this is a computer? So you have this, isn't it? Because one of my friend in the 90s, maybe 91 or maybe there's this model compact, the laptop, and then this have a press this disc, the DVD disc will this come out. This one, somebody sent it to me. So then my friend in Delhi went to pick this up from that person, and I told him the person will give you a computer. Then he calls me. You said a computer, but he didn't give us a computer. He just gave us like a little small suitcase. So I was full of worry because that person promised me to give this computer. And then the person, he cannot do video call at that time. So he says, 100% it is not a computer because it does not have a screen on that. So I thought like, okay, so no screen, no computer, no problem. So once I get it, I know how to open it, and I call him, there's a screen inside that. And he said, I really want to see it. So somehow we have this already in our mind, somehow. Yeah.
So going back to the question of debate or no debate, it seems to me that the ability to engage in debate is something that is caused or that one needs predispositions for. And therefore, if we're thinking about other lineages or other practices which don't use debate so much, maybe we could think of it as the enlightened beings giving a path to people who have not assembled those predispositions for debate. And therefore, it still gives those people a chance on that path.
Di tangi lava na shinridwa, jazanga kashe la riglam jang ma nyong ba dang, chor ma nyong wa. Ina yang rangshin ki jigi lama la teba, chö la teba, gyawa nga chi la yiji. Ane lakpa do jigi nga rangzo lo mangbo kale gyamne jigi teba, lama la teba jeya dan, le jundi la teba jeya di, pachunga di 당분이 지 가서 요요비지 요요딩이 지라 안 된지 강사들라 체도니네 아니 디고그룹에서 릴람 랍고야 단데쇼 패신고고 이게 말이지 가진선은 상지 좀 된디기 두제들 도모도 도모모에 버니 셰셰도 아니 베나 도레 년도기 따지기 년도를 템베처 장sem을 템베처 아니 상도지 되고 디 템베기 강사 송발로 만다 저 그런 바자 가발로 공부 숙제 요메디 켄제 데를 송샤죠 지레도 갔어 tang around the chashanna, ta bena Rinam Jango the Jango, Shambaki Chigu Chigu may be Kijame Picha. Tang around the Robachina, Tanda Dindrigi, say the lead lemon, so called Yugumaraba, the Induzabe, Ma Digi Chudel, Gabudu de Ine, Tandonia, Ta Chubigi, Dindrigi, Yiji Tang, Tapa Tembuji, Yeme Hakotadu, that Tembusu Tapshe della. Niri, Yana Javangamani Sunday Susu Kumji Wangi Bachore, Yanani, Cedilla Kali Jabji, Nubatumbush to Tori. That Dini Nig Narone, Tandang around to be Pageant Tanda Mazumanchi Karcha was sedu, that and the Regnum Tenche, and Susugi, Yonsurdi, Shucher Diantredo.
So there's, like before, certain people, without having to reason, they have single-pointed complete conviction in the Dharma. They have single-pointed complete conviction in reincarnation, in everything that the Buddha says. And when they have that kind of conviction, the level of conviction they have is that they can completely commit 100% to do that without any exception whatsoever, without any doubt, without being displaced from their conviction and their position whatsoever. Then there's other people who don't have that. And so when the Buddha taught, of course the fact that he taught different paths is because everyone has different predispositions. And so knowing their predispositions, the Buddha taught different things. But apart from what other people do, leave that aside, it doesn't matter. In your own situation, put yourself down and check, because your own attitude and your own convictions and your own beliefs and your certainty is not hidden to you. You know that. So consider yourself and check, how convinced are you? And if you find that you're not, then there's only two things left. Either you have imprints from before and you want to further those imprints to gain certainty and conviction in what you believe in, or you have to newly plant those imprints. So what we're doing here is one of the two. If you have them, then they're just getting activated. If they're not, then you have to plant them again. Because your own certainty and conviction in something is something that you yourself know, that's not hidden.
Shung Penang around that Atisharangi Jashung Siore, Nye Jashunji, Dusmango Jejushung Yore, Gengi Sior, Jashung Nalola Tong, those go do some Ribadinala Dina, Dimbata, the Maimbichir said, do Sima Gujen, Tamadella, and Azuma Sone, that Drupta Shiki Ribadi, one Kagan culture and Tamadella, that Dimodon Rosamendu, Seji, Shagdua. The dealer Reglam Mabena, I'm just Lame Sungudus and Lamsang, Yiche to a Kaurota.
So if you read any text, I have read them, Atisha's read them, Gen has read them. When you read Indian texts or when you read the Buddhist texts, you'll always find that the way that it proceeds is you refute something, then you go up. So when you have the tenets, you're gradually progressing up from the tenets by refuting all the various positions that you've identified to be incorrect. And at the end, when you come to Madhyamaka position, or the highest one, you say this is the only alternative left. So if you can't follow the entire reasoning to come to the realization that this is the only alternative left, then what are you going to do? You're going to say, my guru says so, my teacher says so. It's not going to work. That's not going to make it happen for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. In the dedication, there's one verse that normally when I give a teaching or a class, there is Jidar Tibetan Rinpoche, Nindang Tsunang Tsushin Rabdane, Samjene La Samle Jungayi, Namje Loi Tesum Chebersho. This one is very connected to the course we are doing. So it's I request you to do it, because His Holiness, one time he said, now as we are a beginner on the path, now we are solely have to go through all the great masters has once gone. So with this prayer, how the investigation they have done, I'm going to do it. This confidence is needed every time when do a dedication. So he said that, and that day from every time when I'm giving course or a class, I'm doing this. So I think you all should do that.